It's slick like a billiard ball. Girlfriends don't care at all. No chance for race. It's a Buick Grand National. Forget the truth.
That there is the PowerMaster brake system, which is pretty unreliable. They usually like to go out unexpectedly sometimes. Like, they'll give you little hints, but you really gotta do your research.
What was the thinking behind putting it in?
Since it's got boost going by.
Oh.
And they didn't want the they could have put a Hydro Boost system in, but my thinking is the reason why they didn't do it is because they didn't want to make the power steering feel weak. Because you know the Hydro Boost runs off the power steering, and then
heat wrap, bro.
Oh yeah, you like that? That's sweet. The other stuff that was on it was some sort of weird orange gel type.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was on there for like over 10 years, so it was falling off. That stuff had to fly. What Buick did was people think like you're gonna need to put header gaskets in there and stuff like that. The headers from and people ask on the forums all the time. They're doing header work or something like that. They take them off and they're like, oh my god, there's no gasket in here, and they're flipping out and they think they need to put a gasket. What they came from the factory was they came metal to metal. So what I need to do...
So what was their thinking behind just doing metal to metal?
So there's nothing to blow out.
Oh, and they do, and they're machined or polished enough. There's no leaks when they do that.
Yeah, what I needed to do was I needed to take my headers to a machine shop and have the mating surface milled completely true. So. And I just, for an extra, because I just can't wrap my head around no gasket or sealer in there.
Yeah.
So I did a fine bead of high temp silicone in there, and I bolted them in.
Yeah, it'll make you feel better. Just even if it's not doing anything, you're like, I did something.
It just squeezed out and it's doing nothing, but I feel better about it.
Yeah.
And another good thing about no header gaskets is that there's less of a chance you're going to have to go in and tighten the bolts up again.
Mm-hmm.
Because with like a thicker gasket, you might have to... The electronic trunk release in the glove box only works when the ignition is on.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird. That's my seat cover for when I'm back from work. That's just a blanket. And these right here are the factory T-top covers. So when you take the T-tops off, you throw them in these little bags and say GM on it so they don't go rattling all over the place.
Oh.
It's nice to have because I'm always scared when I'm driving that the T-tops are going to be back.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things you should look at when you're looking at one of these things. If you want a real Grand National, you're looking for the code WE2. That's the Grand National package. And when you look at its registration and stuff like that, it might say T-type. Like the lower level, it might say T-type because all these cars are T-types with the Grand National package. Like my insurance will say Turbo T/Grand National. So it's one or the other. Like you could get a T-type that's light blue and the emblems everywhere, like the hood ornament and stuff like that, and it'll look like it's some old woman's car, but it'll move just as fast as this. In fact, maybe even faster because it'll have aluminum wheels and stuff like that. They have light stuff on them. So you couldn't drive away with your license plate down, like that car you reviewed, the later model Caprice, that round thing. Yeah. That's all white and full of dents. Yeah, theirs will stay down, but this one doesn't. And what they did to solve that is they made these grooves in here, and you take the gas cap and you just jam it in there so it stays down.
Seriously?
Yeah, I know.
Like, no one talks about this.
Yeah, exactly, nobody. Like, I had no idea until I bought it, and I was like, the hell's going on? Because I expected it to stay down. The thing you can do is take a plate holder from an older Caprice or something like that and put it on there, and it'll bolt up. But I don't know. I like the stupidity of it. Oh yeah, that's where the computer is. So from taking it out and stuff like that to like put new chips in and stuff, it'll not always sit correct.
Do you have to pry all this stuff off to get at it?
There's a push pin. I think there's a push pin right there. And that comes out or falls out because it doesn't really do anything right now. So then you got to pull this off and then pry on here and it'll unsnap. And then the computer's in there. And then you just take off a little cover and then there's the chip. And you got to make sure that those suckers are wedged in there underneath that lip, or else they'll do a Fast and Furious 1 super target top flip Oh. In fact, I'm probably just going to end up taking these off and putting them in the bag. Now you can see the hassle that T-tops actually are.
Because I want an MR2, but half the MR2s are T-tops, and they say just don't, no.
Just don't touch it. Just leave it alone. This is what T-tops make you do. You gotta grab this, go here and get the bag, and then you gotta walk around, slip this in the freaking little leather condom that they gave you, if you know you have them anymore.
One for one side, the other for the other side?
Yep. 2 separate bags. I don't know if all T-top cars came with these bags, but...
It's like bagging leaves.
Really good to show that one person it's not a one-person job.
Yeah.
There we go.
It is really not a one-person job.
There, so that's apparently the method. You got to set it down on the ground and slip that sucker on in. I'm glad we got that footage. That's good. That's good fumbling footage. I don't want to do it to this car, but to remove these stalks, all you gotta do is just twist it and pull it. So if you have a person with one of these like GM cars with one of these stalks, if you want to play a prank on them, just twist and rip on it and it'll come out. And, and they'll say, "What happened to my nut?" Another neat thing about this car is like luxury interior. Like people make fun of American cars because like everything's like hard plastic and stuff like that. And this car, like the dashboard, none of it's hard plastic. It's all this
heavy vinyl.
Yeah, this squishy kind of vinyl-y substance that is a lot like some of the luxury stuff nowadays. Everything's like squishy and soft to the touch. The only hard plastic is down below where you wouldn't notice.
All right.
And you put a knee into it.
No one explains this. I have watched so many reviews of Grand Nationals, and no one says this. Go.
So I guess, I don't know why they did this. I guess if you're working on it and you put a knee into it, it'll back off. But they're spring-loaded underneath. There's 2 big springs here and here. And
no one says this.
Yeah.
Regular car reviews about to be unknown factors.
I know.
Yes. On my car, it's different. It's supposed to have a Buick symbol here, but I guess it was taken off. And it's also supposed to, because people in the comments will be like, "Oh, this doesn't have this."
Yeah.
It's supposed to have 3.8 turbo SFI turbo on the hood calb, and they're $60 a piece. So who wants that?
Were the GNX only 87?
Yep, GNX was like the last hurrah because everybody knew they were going away. So I think they made 547. Don't take that as gospel. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, they were tuned by McLaren. They had a ceramic turbo impeller, just better fuel system. Good stuff to write down is these cars had a quick upgrade to do to these, which is actually what mine has, is like 100-pound valve spring. Well, no, the cigarette lighter. When I first got it, I was like, where do I plug in my GPS? Does this thing not have like a power port or anything like that? Because I didn't notice it because it matches all the other knobs. Oh yeah, and these seats, there's a way to make them lock into position, but I don't know how, so they just flop.
WE2 is the code for Buick Love. Takes 93 octane because of course it does.